suggestion? Is there anything you want to share?
Yeah, I have a few questions.
Yeah.
I want to know. Okay, I believe I have faith in God.
Yeah.
And some people till now they are not really understanding the part that Meddy came to becoming the part of becoming a Christian today. Meddy, used to be in secular, then today is in gospel.
Yeah.
What would you tell the youth today that is okay? It's not about judging, but it's about knowing God.
Yeah.
What would you advise the youth today that needs to be healed, that need to have faith that God is alive, God can change our lives today?
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
That's a good question. I think I'll try to answer here, just so I don't take too much time. I think the first of all, my choice had nothing to do of just being a Christian or not, because so many people claim to be Christians, to be honest. But I feel like it's mostly in finding purpose in God, because I think, for example, I'll try to bakumva mu cyongereza nabyo n'abatumva ikinyarwanda bumve, so bagerageza kuvuga mu ndimi zitandukanye kugira ngo n'abantu bose bumve icyongereza, but I'll try to mix it. Once you are born again, once you are a Christian, now the biggest and the next step, the role you're supposed to play in the kingdom of God, and I think that's the most crucial part in a Christian life, in a Christian faith. It's you could be you keep doing the things you're doing, but the more you grow in the things of God, you start understanding what you're supposed to be doing. So you can't just do whatever you want and say you're a Christian. I always give an example. Nk'umwana muto, iyo umwana akivuka akora ibyo ashaka, gufata ibyo akabirira mu cyumba, ashobora kumenya ibintu mu nzu, hari igihe ntacyo umubwira, ariko uko umwana agenda akura niko agenda amenya icyo agomba gukora, umwanya agomba kubikoramo. So personally, what I did, it has to do more with my Christian, my spiritual maturity. Uko ukura mu bintu by'Imana niko ugenda umenya icyo ugomba gukora n'ibyo ugomba gukora, n'ibyo utagombye gukora. Ariko iyo ukiri umwana mu bintu byo mu Mana, everything is kind of allowed. You can do some things, it could be okay, ariko uko ugenda ukura niko responsibilities zigenda zihinduka. So that's where I am, and that's what made me change. So even before I was a Christian, but becoming a Christian, it's not like a label, So kuvuga gusa Christ wearangi, it's the life that follows it after you've received Christ. You can't stay the same, You have to grow in faith. You have to come from a place to another. Yeah. The best example is like you leave the bad for the good and you leave the good for the best.
Yeah.
So your life always goes from a level to another. So you can't just keep doing the things you were doing 6 years ago. Something you have to grow. You have to go to come from a place to another. So that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
And so niyo mpamvu nta nubwo nshobora kubanza abafite ibyo bakora wenda njye nakoraga. Ushobora kuba umukristo ariko ukirimba secular, sinshobora gucira urubanza. I can't judge you. I can't look at you different because it's a personal thing. Icyo Imana igusaba n'icyo Imana isaba bishobora bitandukanye. So and byose biva in loving God. You have to love God enough to follow Him and to hear His direction and His counsel. So that's why it's very important to grow and make decisions. You might change your friend depending on where you're going, and
true.
it's not just because of, even with my sons, you go from elementary school, Kajamui high school, your group changes,
Yeah,
when you
true.
get married, your group changes. So that's the same in the things of God. The more you understand, the more you grow in the things of God, your direction starts changing.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's not something people should be afraid of to talk about or to make a decision about. Yeah.
Yeah. So, would you allow me to ask you like the two last, if possible?
Yeah.
The second is why like about the decision making. It's very hard. Meddy, we used to know from 2009 till we decided to be into God's. If I would say forever God's place, allow me to say that. So, how would you? What's decision making in between? You're in the middle of a storm, being a star, and what else? You turning to someone else that
I'm not sure if I heard everything you said, but can you repeat the last part, please?
So I'm saying, would you tell us, like, how you decided? It's about decision making.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of being a star from 2009. Was it very easy to think and to decide directly, or it was just that hard?
No, it's not necessarily easy, to be honest. And again, I mean, most of the decisions you make in your life, they're not necessarily easy. You know what I mean? I think what makes it easy is to understand what you're going to do and where you're going. But again, in a man's nature, it's easy to repel or to reject change. If you will come after at the level you are, you might be very comfortable, and happy. But the more you understand where you're going, you start finding it easy to let go of some things. I'll give you an example. Are you single?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, so let's say, so now you're single, So eventually, if you're going to get married,
yes,
and if you had friends that are against marriage, you're probably going to have to leave them behind. You know what I mean? Depending on what you want, depending on where you're going. So even me, it's like that. So as a young person, you have dreams, you have things you want to achieve, you have things you want to accomplish. And sometimes you don't even know what you want until you get it, Yeah. So I had enough time to go after those things and find them and eventually test how it feels. But sometimes it's when you get those things that's where you actually realize, maybe this is not what I needed, You can get like even when you are going to school, you can get a subject as a whole. You chemistry, biology, math, physics, all that stuff. The more the more you have to choose. The line becomes narrow, You have to pick something you want to go with. You either want to be an engineer, like academic finance. So it's the more you grow again, you start deciding which route you're going to take and the cost you're going to pay. So for me, it's about growth. The more you grow, you make choices. Even in the music industry, you always make choices. Like so there's always changes. So change is part of life. Change is part of nature. So people need to embrace it, and actually, it's more of accomplishing your goal, and to me, that's what I call success. Success is truly to achieve your goal. Yeah. Now, your goal might be bad or good, but at least that's your goal, Yeah. So my goal, I found my goal and my purpose in God. So once I found it, actually, I had no business trying to accomplish something else, you know? Yeah. Yeah, so I guess that's good, right? I think I answered all your questions.
Yeah, true. You're in the right track. But right after the decision making, we after we decide on our lives, like what we're passing through, we need to go into that decision making, that life that we decided to be in. So, what do you think for now God has helped you, or God has given you that you can testify to people, to your fans, to the country, to all the people that love you, that God did amazing things to me, and these are the things that I need to testify, so you people, those who love me, could also see what God really does to us.
Yeah, I think the first goal in life, to be honest, I don't think it's